Our goal is to break the power of the mob in America and nothing short of it. We mean to end their profits, imprison their members, and cripple their organization. Imprison their members and cripple their organization. Cripple their organization. Imprison their members. Break the power of the mob. Our goal is to break the power of the mob in America and nothing short of it. We mean to end their profits, imprison their members, and cripple their organization. Imprison their members and cripple their organization. Cripple their organization. Imprison their members. Break the power of the mob.
Hello, hello, hello. What is going on, world? So, as you see from the title, Money Never Sleeps, this is the Wealth Hour where tonight I am going to teach you how to build an emergency fund. So, as you know, I am part of Wealth Solutions groups as ADH Wealth Solutions. And so I'm going to share with you from one of my affiliates, Mutual of America Financial Group, how to build an emergency fund. This is going to be a brief one because money doesn't sleep, but it does take naps, asked Bruce Wayne. So how to build an emergency fund. There are a few things that can derail your financial progress faster than an emergency or a pandemic. Your partner gets furloughed at work, your car goes kaput, or your child takes a header off the sofa and breaks an arm. Suddenly, you're looking at a pile of unexpected bills, any one of which could impact your ability to reach important financial goals. What about you? Many workers are unprepared for short-term cash needs, according to a recent survey, the source PwC. Here on this chart, it shows that 62% of Gen Zers have less than $1,000 saved to deal with emergency expenses. 37% of millennials have less than $1,000 saved to deal with emergency expenses. 34% of Gen Xers have less than $1,000 saved to deal with emergency expenses. 37% of baby boomers have less than $1,000 saved to deal with emergency expenses. And all employees have a total overall 38% lack of less than $1,000 saved to deal with emergency expenses. So enter the emergency fund. As an emergency or rainy day fund, the money you sock away specifically for unplanned events, those savings can help you avoid having to take on a high interest credit card or other debt, or possibly paying taxes and penalties on an early withdrawal from your retirement savings plan should a financial surprise hit. So, how do you build an emergency fund and still save for retirement, especially in today's challenging environment? Start by asking yourself these 3 questions. Question 1. How much do I need? Setting aside enough money to cover 3 to 6 months of expenses in a rainy day fund is a typical recommendation. However, the amount that's right for you should be based on your own essential expenses, such as rent or your mortgage, insurance, utilities, and groceries, among others. For example, if you're single and living at home, you may need less than if you're married with kids and have a mortgage to cover each month. Question 2. Well, how do I build it? Once you set aside a goal for your emergency fund, decide on how much you can set aside each week, month, or pay period. If you're early in your career or money is tight, pick an amount that you can put away on a regular basis and commit to it. Then set up recurring transfers from your paycheck, if your employer permits it, or your checking account to a savings account that you earmark specifically as your emergency fund. To boost your emergency savings even faster, consider adding all or part of any extra cash that you may have at the end of the month, after you've contributed to all your employer-sponsored retirement plan and paid your bills. Question 3. When should I use my emergency fund? Set some guidelines for what constitutes as an emergency or unplanned expense. And then don't feel bad about using that money should you need it. Just be sure to continue adding to your account so it is replenished for whatever comes next. To learn more about saving for a more financially secure future, contact your local ADH Wealth Solutions representative today at 212-470-9932. Now, I do want to read some things here because there was a caveat on one of the things mentioned, which was borrowing from your retirement account. So it does say the CARES Act permits qualified individuals to take distributions of up to $100,000 from their retirement plans or IRAs without having to pay any penalty tax normally assessed on early withdrawals. Unless those amounts are repaid, however, individuals will have to pay regular income tax on those distributions. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is a simple explanation as to how you build an emergency fund. Now, let's talk a bit about what is an emergency fund. Because a lot of people, or how much should an emergency fund be, I should say. Some people will say that $1,000 is not enough. Some people will say, it's too much. Some people will say you need at least 1 year. Suze Orman generally says you need 8 months. But for the most part, you should have, I'd say, 6 months to 1 year of an emergency fund. 6 months is about, if you have 6 months, you're doing very well. If you have a year, you're doing excellent. If you have 6 months of an emergency fund, you're doing well. Most other financial professionals besides Suze Orman will tell you that 3 months is good. So let's do this. Let's see what my other source says, which is, and I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with, Dave Ramsey, who is one of my, well, I won't say favorite, but one of the many other financial professionals that I also follow as a financial professional. So as it says here, what is a emergency fund? An emergency fund is, and this is actually from Synchrony Bank, not Dave Ramsey. An emergency fund is a financial safety net set aside in preparation for unexpected financial hurdles, such as job loss, large medical expenses, or home and auto repairs. Experts suggest building an emergency fund that can cover 3 to 6 months of expenses. Keeping your emergency fund in a high-yield savings or money market account could give you a higher return compared to a traditional savings account. Imagine you get into a car accident or notice a hole in your roof. Perhaps your company is acquired and the new owner shuts down your division, leading to job loss. Do you reach for a credit card and go into debt to cover expenses, or will you have the money you can tap into while you get things back in order? Well, an emergency fund can help you stay on track. It is a dedicated pot of money set aside for unanticipated expenses such as job loss, home or auto repairs, large medical bills, or any other financial curveballs that life throws your way. An emergency fund can help shock-proof your finances, but many people find it challenging to maintain. In fact, 40% of Americans say that they don't have the savings to cover a $400 expense in the case of an emergency, according to a 2017 report by the Federal Reserve. Working toward building this safety net takes time and dedication, but knowing you have prepared to cover an unexpected expense can relieve a lot of stress and anxiety, along with providing ready assets for a short-term need. An emergency fund also helps preserve your long-term plans. Should you face an unexpected expense, you won't have to tap into your retirement savings, meaning you'll avoid paying penalties for early withdrawals. And that way, your retirement savings can remain hard at work for your future. Now, this again is going to tell you how to build an emergency fund, which we've just gone over once. So I'm going to skip that because it also tells you where you can keep an emergency fund. Now, this is just going to tell you in high yield or high interest bank accounts, which over here we see they have a high interest bank account with 0.8% APR or APY, which is annual percent yearly, but you have to have a $2,000 minimum deposit. I'm sorry, that's a CD, certificate of deposit. So it says where to keep an emergency fund. Your emergency fund should be relatively liquid, meaning you can access it easily and quickly without having to sell or cash out other investments. At the same time, you don't want it to be so accessible that you're constantly dipping into it to cover everyday expenses. Keeping your fund separate from your regular savings or checking account can help you ensure you don't spend it on anything other than real financial emergencies. To maximize your savings, you might consider keeping your emergency fund in an account that earns more interest than a regular savings account. The following types of accounts may be a good fit for you or your emergency fund. a high yield savings account. These FDIC insured accounts offer higher interest rates than regular savings accounts, giving you a better return on your money. Or a money market account. These accounts are similar to savings accounts but come with more flexibility. Like checking accounts, money market accounts allow you to write checks or make debit purchases, but they limit transactions to 6 in a month and may require a minimum balance ranging from $2,000 to $10,000. Note that money market accounts are not the same as money market funds. The latter is an investment that could lose all of its value if the market fails, while a money market account is insured by the FDIC and the National Credit Union Association for up to $250,000 per depositor. So what that means, and you should also know this, in a bank or a credit union, your money is only protected up to, they've increased it to $250,000. Meaning if you have $250,001 and the bank gets robbed by a cryptocurrency miner and they take $250,001, you would have only lost $1. Certificates of deposit, or CDs. CDs generally offer the highest interest rates of all bank accounts. And I just showed you here, theirs is 0.8%. Highest interest rates of all bank accounts. However, CDs can take months or years to mature. And withdrawing funds prior to a CD's maturity date results in penalties and fees. CDs are also insured for up to $250,000 per person. By setting a savings goal and then regularly contributing to your emergency fund, you'll gain the confidence that you can handle financial emergencies without jeopardizing your long-term goals. So, with that being said, what I'd like to do now is share with you a calculator where your life insurance agent, who's likely a financial professional, will also be able to help you calculate certain expenses. Things like your debt income ratio, things like your current spending as of today. So I'm going to go to one of my calculators here. I'm going to show you my screen. You can close that out. And let me share with you my screen again. I'm just going to share the entire screen for now. It's a little easier that way. Okay. And we are going to go to my calculators. We are going to go to product specific. So I'm not going to talk to you about products right now. We're going to look at income. Actually, we can look at your current income. And you can look at projecting your current cash flow. What is your projected cash flow? How will inflation impact your standard of living? Or let's look at how much do I need for emergencies? Okay. I don't think this screen is sharing right now. So let's see, is it? I hope so. So as you can see, this screen says, how much do I need for emergencies? It is prudent planning to have at least 3 to 6 months of liquid cash assets set aside in the event of a loss of a job, a medical emergency, a short-term disability, etc. We will use this calculator to help you determine how much you need to set aside monthly or as a lump sum to create an emergency fund. So I'm going to use an above average income. The average median income in America is $52,000. Let's just say it's $60,000. So the gross monthly income is $5,000 a month. So emergency funds available. Now the note said that most people have less than $400 available. So let's say that this person has $350 available for an emergency fund. Now, we know that experts say you should have at least 3 to 6 months. More conservative people would say 1 year, but let's say 6%. Let's say your before tax return on savings, we'll leave it at 8%. The tax bracket, you're likely not going to be 22, you're likely more close to 33, but at 62,000, we'll say you're at 28%. So, your expenses. So most people with a $6,000 or $5,000 monthly income, or making $60,000 a year, are spending about $4,900 a month. So we'll just do it like that. And we're not going to itemize right now. We're going to say you spend $4,900 a month. We can itemize, but that's later. Okay, now as you'll see in terms of itemizing, however, we start with your mortgage, your vacation home, auto loans, personal loans, charge accounts, your federal income taxes, your state income taxes, FICA or Social Security income taxes, real estate taxes, other taxes, utilities, household repairs and maintenance, food, clothing and laundry, educational expenses, childcare, automobile expenses, gas, repairs, etc., other transportation expenses, life insurance premiums, homeowners or renters insurance premiums, automobile insurance premiums, medical, dental, and disability insurance premiums, entertainment and dining, recreation and travel, club dues, hobbies, gifts, major home improvements and furnishings, professional services, charitable contributions, and other miscellaneous expenses. Okay? Now, I will read the legal jargon to you because, again, I am a financial advisor here. So this is actually the work that you would get from sitting with your financial professional. When someone, again, says they sell life insurance, it's likely that they're offering to you the Big Mac and fries like McDonald's. However, when you get to McDonald's, you find out by looking at their menu that they also have coffee, apple slices, and cookies. This information may help you to analyze your financial needs. It is based on information and assumptions provided by you regarding your goals, expectations, and financial situation. The calculations do not infer that the company assumes any fiduciary duties. The calculations provided should not be construed as direct financial, legal, or tax advice. In addition, some information should not be relied upon as the only source of information. This information is supplied from sources we believe to be reliable, but cannot 100% guarantee it's accurate. Hypothetical illustrations may provide historical or current performance information. Past performance does not guarantee nor indicate future results. That is basically just to indemnify in case you try to go and invest and then try to sue me. So don't take this and go run with it. If you really want to take this and go run with it, you need to sit down with me and have a true financial analysis, give me your actual numbers, and we'll go through it. So again, this is based on $5,000 a month. You currently have $350 in your emergency fund, 6 months of which you need it to last. And you need 36 months or 3 years in which to accumulate these funds. So you're not doing it overnight. This is a course of 3 years, okay? And you're spending $4,900 of that $5,000 a month. Okay, I sit in real households and most people have more month than money. So even though you're investing and this, that, and the third, as a financial professional, I've seen plenty of people who have multiple businesses, $1 million homes, and still have more month than money. So based on the assumptions you entered, you may be able to fund your desired emergency fund by adding a single lump sum of $24,395 or by saving $736 a month for the next 36 months. Now, currently, with your total living expenses of $4,900 not being itemized, I can't break that down to show you where you would need to change your spending. But as you can see, this actually will point you out as to where you can change your spending and add to your savings. So here it says total monthly living expenses are $4,900 times the number of months needed is 6 months. Your emergency funds needed is almost $30,000, so $29,400. Your emergency fund available is $350. So currently your emergency fund shortfall is $29,050. The recommended savings is to either put in $24,395 into a high yield bank account and let it save, or monthly save $736 a month. From the analysis, it shows that you have $100 a month left actually available for savings. So the ratio analysis will show you your living expenses versus your earned income. Your living expenses are 98% of your earned income, and your recommended savings versus your earned income is 14%. Okay. So as you can see here, the contribution versus the ending balance. As you see here, month 1, it's very minuscule. But as you go to month 36, it's still very minuscule. But month 1, the growth is minuscule, but the ending balance is $1091 because of interest. And as you see here, the ending balance at the end of 36 months is $29,400 because you left that $350 there, and we're assuming that you're adding based on that $350 being there. So again, it's not high yield earnings in a regular bank account. So off of the beginning balance of $350, adding $736, you're going to get an earning of about $5. So your ending balance would be $1091. Okay, that's the end of month 1. This is something that is growing at compound interest, which most bank accounts grow at an annual percentage rate. But if you had something that grew at a compound monthly interest rate like a life insurance policy, which is still very liquid, something this much would grow so much faster. So let's assume that this gentleman is a 36-year-old male. Let's go back to the beginning here. Because you're going to see how a life insurance policy can also be an impromptu savings account. Like I said, this is going to be a very short live. And once I finish here, you'll actually know how to build an emergency fund. To actually implement an emergency fund, give me a call and we can go ahead and set that up. So as you see here, we have our client, the Blue Blazer, and we're going to go ahead and go. And we are going to do a universal insurance. Insurance policy. Yeah. We're going to make him a tobacco user because, again, like I said, tobacco triples your price. Okay. We're going to input the premium. We're going to minimum non-MEC, the amount. We're going to cash value accumulation test. We're going to put in $736 a month into that life insurance policy. And this was with a assumed monthly compound interest rate of 6.4%. Not going to mess with the cash flow too much, though. We do want to look at that next. I'll do another video on that. So as we look here at $736 a month. So with a minimum non-MEC, it would get him $288,186 worth of life insurance. So again, this you would say, well, that's a lot of money to be paying for $288,000 worth of life insurance. Again, this is why you cannot ask someone how much life insurance costs, because there's different ways to make it cost different things for different purposes. So in this scenario, let's increase this because it's probably hard to see on the screen. In this scenario, again, he's a tobacco user. So remember, the price is tripled for a tobacco user. I'm going to do this as well for a non-tobacco. Okay, because health is wealth. And remember, this is the same person. Because health is wealth. Now, this is not going to be the greatest version of it because I have it set up to build cash and I have it set up to be a minimum non-modified endowment contract. So it is going to be set up to be a tax shelter. So likely the face amount will be the same. Let's see. Face amount is the same, 288, 186. Now, if I input this for percent of target and put him as a non-tobacco user, check this out. Preview. Just because before I finish it, I want you to see that health is wealth. So same scenario, non-tobacco, $736 a month will get him $848,714 worth of life insurance. Now, let's use that same one for a tobacco user and preview. This is why Black Man health is wealth. Okay, the same one for a tobacco user for $736 will get you $802,909 worth of life insurance. Now, again, you're asking me, well, how much is life insurance? And I just showed you 4 different scenarios where the price is vastly different for the same type of life insurance policy. I'm going to also go down to the cash value accumulation because you can see the premium price there and then increase the screen so you can see the difference in cash value accumulation as well. Okay, so again, this one is a face amount of $288,186, yet you're paying $736 a month. Now, on the flip side, I show you another illustration. So again, you can't say how much is life insurance? How much is a Mercedes-Benz? Again, $736 a month, yet this one is $848,414, and this one is $288,186. Well, what's the difference? Well, the difference is the way that it's set up to accumulate cash value. Okay, now I did these all with option A, which is a level death benefit. Okay, so with it being a level death benefit, let me close some of these windows here. I have too many windows open. It's going to slow down my computer. So we're going to look at non-tobacco. Okay, cool. So $736 with an option A, meaning it's a level death benefit, so the death benefit stays the same. So again, here we're looking at immediately the first year, you're paying in $8,832. Your death benefit is $288,186. You have a account value, meaning you can borrow against $7,387. And if you surrender the policy, you do only get $2,093 back. The second year, you've paid in another $8,832, almost $16,000. And then again, you're at $15,000 accumulation value, and if you cancel, you're only going to get $10,000 back. Generally, your cash value doesn't beat up for the first few years, first 5 years. So let's look at year 5. Well, let's just go all the way down to year 10. Year 10, you've paid in $88,320. Now, notice here, I kept you at a level death benefit, but because the cash value is accumulating so much, your death benefit has increased here. Okay, because now at year 9, you're building up too much cash value. So here at year 9, your death benefit increases from $288,000 to $314,000. Well, what does that mean for me? Because right now you're just telling me that if I die, somebody gets a big check. Well, again, remember, you paid in $88,320. Now, if you decide to cancel the policy, you've actually been paid, because if you cancel the policy after 10 years, you will get $99,968. And that's guaranteed. There's no way to lose that money, okay, because it's behind a life insurance policy. Now, let's say, again, you were 36, you kept this policy for 20 years, and then continued to pay it. Over the course of 20 years, you've paid $176,640 worth of money out of your own pocket, after tax dollars, because you've already been taxed on these dollars. But after taxes, this money grows in this life insurance policy to $305,707 of money that is available to you to borrow against. There's also $305,700 of money available for you to cancel or liquidate and take this policy. I did a home buying seminar once where I showed you can use your life insurance policy to buy a house. People know that they're going to buy a house, or they want to buy a house, when they're 18. And they start saving money in a bank account that earns you 0% growth. But they shun at getting a life insurance policy that would grow them 6.4% a month. Meaning that if I was 20 and waited 10 years and put $8,000 away for 10 years and had $88,000 for 10 years, if I put it in the bank, I'd only have $88,000. But if I put in a life insurance, I'd have $99,000. That's a great way to build another emergency fund. So real quick, again, just want to show that all life insurance is not the same, because again, these are the same type of policy. These are also both index universal life, right? And growth indexed universal life. They're both the same, okay? But again, all life insurance is not the same. This is why your savvy financial advisor will ask you, and I actually had a client respond to this crazily, and many do. What do you want your life insurance to do for you? Just like people will say what they want their investment to do for them, and they generally don't even know what that is. They just want to put it in there and see the stock market do what? Generally, the wealthy are playing the stock market to preserve capital, and that's what you want your life insurance to do for you as well. So again, this policy, same monthly premium of $736 a month, $288,186 is your death benefit. Whereas same policy, $736 a month, $848,414 worth of a death benefit. The reason, again, you look here, this $848,414 worth of a death benefit does not build you cash value in the same way that this $288,186 death benefit does. But you're paying the exact same $736 a month. You see here, when you're paying for just the life insurance coverage, at the end of 10 years, you paid in $88,000. But see, you were worried about price, so you were paying for life insurance. So at the end of 10 years, you only have $68,518 worth of liquid cash available to you, and only $70,435 worth of cash available to be borrowed against. Whereas in this scenario, by sitting with a financial professional and actually discussing what you want your numbers to do, you've paid in that same $88,320, yet you have $100,619 with which to borrow against, and $99,968 with which is liquid to you. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is getting late. You all may be tired yourselves. I hope that you've gained something from this little bit of information. And as always, like, comment, subscribe, share. With that being said, you're going to hear my outro. Peace, Black Power. One love. I'm out.
Our goal is to break the power of the mob in America and nothing short of it. We mean to end their profits, imprison their members, their members. Our goal, break the power of the mob